Hey, so in this video today, I'm going to be trying out the brand new Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. Not to be confused though with the original Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer. That one was a totally different situation. This one is like a true foundation, but with medium coverage, supposed to have that hydrating aspect that the Pretty Fresh line does have. The only thing is, this one does retail for $16, which is the highest price Colourpop foundation that I think they've ever launched. So I'm very curious to see if it's worth that price point, see how it wears, the different types of applications. We're going to be trying this out today for a second time. That is right. I actually tried this out yesterday for you guys and I filmed some footage of it where I did like my more traditional steps where I did like full concealer, setting powder and everything because I wanted to see how the wear time was with that, how it looked, how much you could build up the coverage, all of those. So that way we cover all the bases today. I'll be showing you the footage of all of that and then we'll actually go in with a different way of applying this, more like with a beauty blender, more to the light to medium coverage, just keeping it pretty fresh. But you know, everybody applies it in different ways, so I want to try to cover as many, like I said, bases as I could, and that's what we're going to be doing. Now before we dive into all of that, I do want to mention really quickly, if you are new here, my name is Ashley Ellix and I would love it so much if you consider subscribing at any point in time in this video. All you need to do is just go down, hit that little red button, and then if you are subscribed, make sure that your bell is tapped. That way YouTube actually notifies you, allegedly, when I do post more videos, which is 3 times a week, all beauty related and all cruelty free as well. But enough chit chat, enough jibber jabbing. If you would like to see how this Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation performs and if it is worth it for you, then you're in the right place. And all you need to do now is sit back, hang tight, and keep on watching. Boop. So like I mentioned, let's talk all about the first day of wearing it. So yesterday I applied this foundation just like I normally would, where I actually conceal my discoloration on my cheeks before going with the foundation. Just use my Tarte Shape Tape like usual. And then I went in with my Sigma F80 brush to get as much coverage as I could. Now, while I was applying it, I kind of felt like it just looked a little, I don't know, too thick. I don't know. I didn't love the feeling of it with a brush. It felt kind of weird, felt kind of odd. It felt like it wasn't wanting to blend out in a way that I would normally like a foundation to blend out. But this is what it looks like with just that concealer base on my cheeks and the foundation. So you can see what the coverage is. It's more medium to full. Once I tapped it out very, very gently with a sponge like I would normally do, it actually looked much better. So this is what it looks like with just that concealer base and the foundation. It's a nice medium coverage, almost medium plus. And now this is what the final result of my full face of makeup. So as you can see, it actually looks pretty full coverage after I use my Shape Tape concealer on all the other areas that I would highlight and, you know, get a little more coverage for. So it would be a good base. I just didn't love the application with the brush. So now that you've seen that, let me go ahead and pop in the wear test from my first day of wearing it with that full coverage look. Okay, so the first day, it's been on for 6 hours right now, but I'm just about to take a shower. So I thought I would check in really quick. I'm noticing some like netting around this area, which I don't really like when that happens, especially at the 6 hour mark. From like far away, my skin looks very radiant, very pretty. It doesn't look oily or anything. Actually like a little bit of like a dewiness, but I don't look like, in person, I don't look like greasy. But when you get up close, you can see all of this right here. I'm just on my regular iPhone in my bathroom lighting, but you can kind of see some of the areas that have kind of worn off on the nose and stuff. I mean, I ate, showered my daughter, you know, all of that stuff. Some areas are totally fine. Like this whole area looks good, but it's more like T-zone, except not the forehead. Just this area right there, I'm not really loving, and this color match is not the best. As you see, the wear time was like all right? It wasn't the best, especially in this area. So what primer I used yesterday was a Tarte Quench primer. I did like it everywhere else, and my nose actually, it wasn't like patchy or anything. It just, the foundation just kind of rubbed off, which is just the foundation. I don't think that's a primer issue. So I'm gonna go in with Tarte Quench primer again. However, I will use a little pore filling primer, the Revolution Pore Blur, kind of in this area, and I'll go ahead and put it in these areas just to see if that will maybe help the foundation to stick a little bit better and hopefully reduce the separation and stuff. But it could also have been the brush, and maybe there was just too much product down there. It was very hard to control how much product I was putting on with the brush. Maybe that's what was it. So let's apply this primer real quick. I feel like in this portion, you'll be able to get a really good idea of how much coverage this actually gets because I have freckling, because I have discoloration and even some red acne scarring. You'll be able to see like, okay, is that kind of the coverage that I want to do, or do I need more? Do I need less? What the dealio is. Now going in with the Pore Blur Primer, just in that area. And then for my beauty sponge today, I'm gonna be using my favorite beauty sponge. It's only like $1.55. It's from Shop Miss A, the AOA Studio Super Soft Wonder Blender, and I'm gonna shake up this little bottle of Pretty Fresh. By the way, I got the shade Light 55N. I'm usually a light neutral, but as you'll see in a second, or you probably saw earlier, this shade is a little itty bit too light for me. So I should have gone with the other light neutral shade. They had one step deeper, but in the picture of the model, it looked too dark. So anyways, let's press this on and pat it out. You know what? Dude, I know this is too instant, but that's already applying nicer with this beauty sponge. Like, it's not being weird, and like, it was almost like caking up, but like in a greasy way with the brush. It was very odd. Okay, let me zoom you in a little bit so you could see everything a little bit more clear. So hopefully this helps. I definitely feel like this is a true medium today while using the sponge. I loved the way it applied with this one. It was so much easier. It didn't deposit too much. It was just enough. Like a little bit satin, maybe a little satin looking. It's definitely not matte, but that is what it looks like. Now I'm gonna be going in with some concealer, but I'm gonna use a different one than what I used yesterday. Yesterday I used the Tarte Shape Tape, but today, because I'm keeping it more medium coverage, I'm gonna be using the Tarte Hydrocealer concealer. And I'm just gonna kind of put it in the areas that I need to. Try not to go overhand, since this is more of like a lightweight look. Try not to go overhand, and then I just do exactly the same as what I do. And I'll use the same sponge to gently blend that out. All right, so this is with the concealer all blended out. What are you guys thinking about that coverage? How are you feeling about it? Now, I know not everybody powders, but I'm a powder type of girl because I don't like my face to feel sticky at all. And this one definitely has that tacky feel. So yesterday I set with the Bye Bye Pores pressed powder from IT Cosmetics. Today, since I want to keep it more glowy and fresh, I will be using my e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, but I'm going to jump off camera, do the whole rest of my face, do all of that. If you are curious of what I used on the rest of my face, I'll be listing them all down in the description box per usual, so you guys know what we're working with here. So I'll be back in a second and we'll see how everything looks now for this more medium coverage application. All right, final look is all complete, and let's take a look at the skin and the foundation and everything. So I'm liking the little bit of like glow this is giving me. It's like definitely a satin type of finish. Really pretty, not overly dewy or anything. However, if you're looking for a super dewy foundation, this isn't quite there. Keep in mind though, I did powder. But even still, before I powdered, I didn't feel like it was that dewy looking. I definitely felt like it was a little bit of a satin sheen. Oh, I have these little hairs coming down, drive me crazy. And again, still a medium coverage. I still see some skin peeking through. I have a little freckle I see right there, and a couple little discoloration marks and some freckles. So on camera, here's the thing about my medium coverage foundations. On camera, I don't know how my skin is looking. It might not look that wonderful, but what I'm going to tell you is in person, I think it looks really pretty. I look really glowy. My skin tone is evened out. It's diffused. I still see my skin. It doesn't look like I have heavy caked on makeup. Doesn't look completely flawless, but it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of my skin. It looks like my skin, but better, as they say. And one more thing, I don't feel like this is as hydrating looking as it could be, you know? It's not, like the satin sheen is nice, but in some areas it still does look a little bit dry, specifically around this area right here, which is maybe why it's separated on me. I don't know. It's not separating right now. My skin just looks really dry around this area. So if you're looking for something super, super hydrating, I'm not sure this is that, but if you're looking for a little bit more hydrating, it's more hydrating looking than a matte foundation for sure, but it's like a true satin to me. Yeah, so I am really enjoying the finish of this today and the overall way this looks on my skin today, as opposed to yesterday when I used the brush, when I tried to get it more full coverage. I prefer using this in the way kind of it's meant to, which was medium coverage with a sponge was much better, as you saw. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on this coverage. Let's go ahead now and see how the wear test went and how everything looked after 8 hours. 8 hours it has been since I first applied. This is what everything's looking like. Definitely more dewy, if that's what you want to say. Greasy borderline, lots of oils coming through, high shine. But with that being said, I'm not noticing that kind of netting separation that was happening yesterday when I did the more full coverage with the brush. Yeah, woo! Lots of oils coming through, but it still looks good. And also, it's not all rubbed off on my nose. My upper lip still looks fine. My chin, little tiny bit, but it still looks, yeah, it still looks fine. So yeah, it's official. I definitely like it better with the sponge. And this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, like I mentioned. So if you wanted to control the oil a little bit more, but you liked this finish, you liked this result, this coverage, then just go in with a different setting powder if you want to use a setting powder, and that'll control the oils. The Halo Glow Setting Powder kind of gives me this result most of the time, but it looks nice. The coverage looks the same. It's just more oily. That's it. That is it for today's video. Let me know down below in the comments, is this a foundation that you want to try out for yourself, or is it a pass for you? I love talking makeup and I love chatting with you guys up in the comments. And if you want to get a little bit more social with me, you can go get some extended content over my Instagram and Twitter and all social media channels, which I am Ashley Ellix on. If you are new here, I would love it so much if you would consider hitting that little red subscribe button and then tapping in that bell. That way you get notified when I post more videos. But that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that every single one of you have a great, freaking, awesome, wonderful, beautiful, happy day. The Colourpop Pretty Fresh Fish, the Pretty Fish, Pretty Fresh, get your words together, lady. Do it. Because I actually, what? It's with you. Yep, with you. What? Look at this. Look at this, trying to crawl up to me. What are you doing? I gotta film. I got to. How this Colourpop, I keep wanting to say no filter. It's not no filter, it's Pretty Fresh. Colourpop No Filter Hydrating Foundation. Colourpop No Filter, that is not what it is, it's Pretty Fresh. Just no filter just rolls off the tongue. Video today, I'm gonna be trying out the No Filter